JD Conti joining us now after a conversation he had with folks just earlier.
Yeah, Hannah, well, there's a lot of work going on in downtown Tyler, the big Smith County Courthouse going on, all the work going down there. And now Smith County Animal Shelter right here, they're getting some stuff to commissioners a while ago approved a $1.8 million contract to do some upgrades here. There's some drainage and HVAC stuff, The animal shelter, they've got 80-something dogs in there sometimes, so it can get a little smelly. So there's some of the kind of structural things they're working on. But the main thing is kind of back there and in this space right here, but kind of more back there, kind of back behind the constable's office, the big green space. So if I kind of walk back here, which I can't right now because I'm not accompanied, I was earlier. I'm going to show you that video earlier. It's going to be a big green space. And the idea in that, Hannah, is that right now they don't really have a lot of space to bring the dogs out. They don't really have a lot of space to kind of do the things that they want to do. And the idea in that is that they're going to get the dogs out. They're not going to have those dogs inside all the time. And when you get that, you get dogs that are more adoptable. They're not in there all the time. You can have a place for families to actually come and meet the dogs and interact with them. Right now, the room they're using to get dogs to meet families is pretty small. And just having a place to also have the community come in, having a central place for all of the local shelters like Pets for People and all the other places to come in and kind of do trainings. They've already talked to local trainers that are going to come in here, this new green space, and just come and do stuff. So they want to have a kind of a central place for the animal community, all the people in Smith County to come and just meet dogs. And the goal here is to get animals out quicker, because right now I believe they told me they have 80-something dogs here. And when they talked to, county leadership, it wasn't an issue of space. It was an issue of, we want to get dogs out of here quicker so they're not sitting here forever. And they believe that this green space, Hannah, is really going to do that. So let's talk to Holly and Colton and see what this project is going to do. Okay, so y'all came on, and it was pretty soon that you realized that you wanted to do something of this nature, right? Just kind of talk to me about what it was.
Well, I mean, the commissioners and the judge already had the plans in mind that they really wanted to open up something for the dogs in the community downtown. They just needed to get the plans moving and approval passed through the court, working with the architects and bids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they had already had the idea, and then they got pretty shortly after we started, they wanted input from us on what we thought would be the most beneficial and the most useful. And so we kind of all agreed that a green space outside that invites the community in, a place for us to hold events, a place for us to invite people to come, was going to be the most beneficial, and probably the best use of the money for doing something for the dogs, but also doing something to invite people.
Mm-hmm. What's the goal of this green space? We were talking about in the meeting, kind of having a community space, but also, getting more dogs out, where you can have people come and just kind of walk me through what your goal was.
Well, we've already talked to some trainers that are interested in coming down, even a couple that want to lend us their agility equipment. And that is a game changer, like I said, for the dogs to be able to get out of their kennels, get some sunshine, work with one-on-one with a trainer, having our staff being trained, having goals for the dogs. It makes them more adoptable. It helps with kennel anxiety, but also just, being outside, a family coming and looking for a dog, looking for that family pet will be great to have a larger place, and the kids can run and play. The parents can sit and talk and love on the dog and make sure that, it's the right fit. Mm-hmm. Volunteers, having just community events, having people come down, come have lunch with the dog, de-stress.
Yeah. I mean, what are you guys doing right now? You've got like a little space out there. When the family comes out?
Well, we have our meet and greet room in the shelter that is small, and then we have our lobby area. Now, we've also used the back gated parking area, but as construction begins, that will not be feasible. Mm-hmm. So, but we're really excited about doing this.
Mm-hmm. Hey, bud. He's just looking at me. Anyways, as I deal with my not so little distraction here.
JD likes all the dogs and cats.
Yeah, I'm more of a dog guy. But as I remember in Commissioner's Court when they're talking about, there's a lot of structural things that need to be done in the building, like drainage. Can you kind of just walk me through all that stuff?
Yeah, so as part of the package, what we're having done is there are drains that are being updated and upgraded as well. So at one point in time, they'd gone in and they'd put trench drains in next to about half the kennels. And this update, there'll be trench drains next to all of them. So we'll get away from the circular floor drains, and there'll be trench drains next to all the kennels. So the drainage will be updated. Also, the air handling system will be updated and upgraded. So we'll be able to move more fresh air in, which helps with smells and just overall just comfort. Also.
Yeah, I remember there being said that the smell was not so pleasant.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, if you put 80, where we are right now, like 81 or 82, you put 82 dogs in an enclosed area. If you're not moving a bunch of air in and out of that building, it's going to smell like there's 82 dogs in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
it doesn't matter how much you clean, you've got to move the air for it to remain fresh. And of course, that bleeds. If it's not fresh air, it bleeds over into the lobby. It just makes the whole environment not great.
So talk to me about this space right here. So we're in the animal control building right
Yes,
now.
yes.
Kind of talk to me about this space right here. You were talking about how there's
Yes.
walkway and everything.
I'm real excited about that because the parking will actually be across the street. Right now, people really coming up to visit us don't have a great place to park. They can pull up to we don't have a front door, we have a side door, but they can pull up there, but it's very limited how many cars can get there, and then backing out with the traffic and construction. So parking will be across the street. They'll be able to walk up to a great little walkway. We're looking at plants, possibly murals on both sides, and a gated area into the green space with a family bathroom. So that's going to be wonderful.
Awesome. So you talked about the family bathroom, the pathway back to the green space.
Yes.
When we were in Commissioner's Court a couple months ago, I remember you talking about animal control being in this building. Has it always been here? Because you were talking about Colton, I believe, it being in this building and not being a big deal.
yeah, so it has actually a huge benefit to having animal control separated. It has not always been separated. This is actually the old facilities building. So as the old Gulf States property got renovated for facilities, they moved into that after that renovation, and then animal control moved over to this building, which is the old facilities building. Being able to separate animal control from the animal shelter is a pretty big benefit. Residents of the county need to be able to come down here, and they need to be able to see pets for adoption in one place, but they need to be able to talk about experiences that they have with animal control issues as far as stray dogs or bite cases or whatever the case may be. And separating those two lobbies is, very beneficial. You don't necessarily want to have one person having a conversation about adopt this dog while you're having a conversation with somebody else about a stray dog that may have bit them or something. So being able to separate the two is going to be greatly beneficial.
So when did they move over here?
So we moved over, oh gosh, I don't remember. It's been about 7 weeks ago, somewhere in that time frame.
How have you seen that kind of, the benefits of that?
Yeah, well, one, we've got an area right now because we're over here. We've got an area to do stuff like this. It's this is a much easier, much better place to do this than over there in the shelter. But two, yes, members of the public have been able to come in here and have conversations with animal control without the distraction of people that are over there looking at pets to adopt.
And we still have a distraction of a dog. But
We do still have a distraction of a dog.
That's because we brought him over here, though. Obviously, we're getting federal funds for this, but when you talk to people in the community and say, "Hey, we've got this money and we're using this for this," why do you tell them this is why we're using this money for this? What's the benefit that we're going to see?
Yeah, so using the money this way gets us a few things. One, it gets the renovations to the inside of the current shelter that needed to happen. The drainage system had to be updated and upgraded. The air handling situation had to be updated and upgraded. The green space is going to be the most beneficial to us. It gives us the ability to run a true volunteer program where volunteers can come in. They can take dogs outside on the green space to get them time to run around and things like that. With, a lot of people have mentioned that, we should have built more kennels or we should have done this. Well, space, when you're talking about in an animal shelter, capacity in an animal shelter, it's not really about kennel space. It's about your capacity of care. So how many animals can you care for, not how many animals can you store somewhere. And so what the green space does is gives us the opportunity to bring in volunteers and to get dogs out, which increases our capacity for care. If a dog is in a kenneled environment for so long, they start to become less and less adoptable the longer they're in those situations. Well, the more often you can get them outside, the longer they remain, pretty adoptable as far as they don't deteriorate inside the kennel situation. So we don't think that the answer that we were looking for was more kennels. We think the answer we were looking for was more opportunity for enrichment so that we could keep animals adoptable longer.
Is there anything on this project that I'm missing?
Well, and again, the way the the way the floor is set up right now with drainage, the floor is wet most of the time. So having volunteers in, even taking the public in, if they come down and they want to view the dogs in the kennels, it's just not safe. It's not good for the community. It's not good for the dogs. So getting them outside, as Colton has already spoken, having a safer environment outside, fresh air, having better drainage, all that is going to benefit the dogs and will help us find them homes much quicker.
I believe you guys wanted to have this done by early fall, am I right?
So all invoices have to be paid before December 31st of 2026. Otherwise, the money is no longer available. So the entire project has to be completed. All invoices have to be submitted and everything has to be paid by the end of the year. The last target completion for construction date that I saw was right around the 1st to mid of November. And so far, nobody has come up and said, whoa, I don't think this is possible. Everybody's pretty optimistic that they're going to be on track for that.
Do you have any idea what day they're going to actually go and start hammering?
No, so they've done the abatement. The abatement was completed Tuesday. The superintendent for the construction company that was awarded the bid was here yesterday, walking around looking at things that they might get into when they start demo, as far as gas lines and things like that. But I think they're planning on starting pretty much now.